More powerful, more powerful, more powerful. The mama kwaba edo Ghana King TV. And I need down share na obomodin as subscribe channel no amami. Share video no from out of one year of phone na wo hwe na o share. Ubi na what share wadwen e wo comment section ho abotre kwan so. Isa sa ha esu abakosem amanye ne amamre Ghana hensem ho komo ene yedi. Ghana hensem ni na ne headquarters ene hia tiri ekoso wo Ghana hensem ho de na tese eye Ghana King TV. Onyanofo na de ekoso enina ne se yewura tufo na na o se tutu abebio na mekese more powerful na mebo dia kasem one the king of Eswatini na se obepiem ewo Ghana Asante mem ya yewura eso agene fe so na eye krabehwe eye adutwam kura bi nsida na se de ohwe ne fe ene ne yua eya na chese Ghana say your kingdom a song and a kingdom so bana say Ghana kingdom no so ye kese na me no kese oba ye obehu Ghana president ebepiem ewo Kumase na opiem Kumase na so hia Ghana himfu na ye frɛ no de National House of Chiefs no na eno ano bibia timi kɔ so owie ye na so obomoden ekɔkɔchia yewura otumfo na na se tutu abebio na mekase saa bre no yehu sampamahene ewo hɔ a na kyerɛ efe na sampamahene ne obi a wɔne otumfo gyina hɔ a wɔne ne hyia eye King of Eswatini esanse na sampamahene enya anim se ne gazette sensem no enya NCP enti National House no wantimi ankomito no de na wɔwɔ ne wura nkyɛn epɛn ti no yewi a betwa mfoni ni na ama wahu na anu na dodo na ebisa se National House of Chiefs no yehu Ghana eye Regional House of Chiefs president ni na yede ewo hɔ na yehu na Dormaahene ya wo ye Blue House of Chiefs president na die nti ena na Dormaahene entimi amepiem wo hɔ na no ho komo enene me ne omienu ye ba abedi no na me pese orenafo ye kɔhwɛ mfoni no ba ne yehu sa yampa se na agimabadu eye Dormaahene entimi ama na se die nti ena yehu no wo hɔ na yankɔji ensem no ntiemu emra na yɛhwɛ de kɔ so ye ba bedi ɛho enkomo.
Eswatini to address this honorable House of Chiefs. By it, when our palace, the staff said that
in the south, we sit on stools. So we say the chief has been stool. That is why we are giving you this stool as a symbol of authority in Ghana. from the north. They sit on skin. Good. So that is the skin. Skin. So we say we have been enskinned. And they normally wear 3 pieces. And so what we are presenting to you is also a 3 piece. So these are the 2 systems that we have in Ghana. And these 2 represent the good people of Ghana. It doesn't mean that there's a division. No, we are not divided at all. It's all about the culture that includes life. Thank you, and may God really bless you. Your Majesty, we didn't want to give you big loads, but you were accompanied by a group of people. So we have pamphlets. How many of them? 20 to be shared among your entourage. The senior one to get so the number on your behalf is going
These grants, before they are made, the king commissions a group. He gives them the right materials to produce these grants. So anytime they are beaten, they convey messages of the king to the people. Second, the Asante sits on a chair, and she's also carried by 4 strong men, 2 in front, 2 at back. This time, our grandmother is carried on the head. Is carried on the head, is placed here, and she is carried on the head, telling so many things. The woman owns the family. It is the woman that controls everything. It is only the woman who can rebuke the king in public when the king does something wrong. And the king seeks advice on the matter of governance. So our queen mother or our Asante is very powerful when it comes to the kingdom of Asante. Was put out by the British colonial government in the year 1925 for Nana Prempeh I. Nana Prempeh I was the 13th king of Asante. He was arrested by the British to Seychelles through Sierra Leone to Seychelles for 28 years. When he returned in the year 1924, this house was given him up to 1974. Nana Prempeh I, the second, and the late king. So this house is the story. The downstairs is administration. the upstairs for their residence. So the first room we are about to enter was used by the late kings as their administrative office. Your Majesty, before we enter, this is the first colored painting to Asante nation. This is the 14th king of Asante. It was painted by a white Hungarian woman. This woman, the husband was in Kumasi, was working in Kumasi. So this woman was an artist who had paid a visit to the husband in Kumasi. So together with the husband, they were special guests to the king. So seeing how beautiful the king was dressed, and because there was no color printing, she took a picture of the office of the late kings. That is the decks, the throne, the old telephones used by them. Of course, we have the flag of Ghana, the old telephones used by them. Yes, and we have the decks. Your Majesty, we have the flag of Asante. The Asante is a nation before Ghana had the independence. So that was the flag of Asante, the colors yellow, black, and green. The yellow represents their money, rich in gold. The black, the strength of the people. The green, the fertility of the land. So together we say the rich black man in the forest. So that's the meaning of our flag. Your Majesty, on the wall we see the map of Asante. That was the ancient map of Asante before Ghana was born. Ghana is only 66 years. Your Majesty, you have the first television to Asante Nation, 1965. At that time, before you watch a television, you have to book an appointment. So that was the television. Your Majesty, at the extreme end, you have the black and white photo there. That is the Asante architecture. Asante started building their own house before colonization. So that's Asante architecture. So far, we have 16 Asante kings since the formation of Asante Kingdom. The current king is the 16th king. The one before us was the 14th king. Otumfo Osei Adjuma Prempeh, the second. He was king from 1931 to 1970. He was 39 years when he was installed and ruled for another 39 years. So he passed on at age 78 in the year 1970. Your Majesty, that is the sister, Nana Amase Apong, the 12th queen mother of Asante from 1945 to 1977. Your Majesty, in Asante tradition, anytime we see the Asante Hema or the woman, the queen mother, and the king, they are not husband and wife. They can't marry. They are from the same royal family, blood related. So either mother and son, or a brother and sister. That were used to serve them. Your Majesty, you'll be asked to pick your own glass. But the glass you pick determines the drink they can offer. Your Majesty, you will not be told. As soon as you pick the big one, you'll be given water. But the small ones will enjoy your champagne, your whiskey, telling you don't be greedy. Your Majesty. Was used as a dining room. In our tradition, the king dines alone. In those times, he dines alone. And we have this table and chairs, and we also have this object on the table, a family bowl. The Asante, I showed you Asante architecture. The Asante built the house, the compound house, in such a way that each house could accommodate between 2, 3, 4 families. So during the evening's food, all the men in the same house will enjoy the meal together. Like 4 men in the house, my wife is done, the rest will join me, they will eat. Then all our wives will eat together, then our children will eat together. It was very difficult to poison somebody's table feed. Still working after 75 years. We've never changed the motto, we've never filled the glass, it still works, Your Majesty. Yes. No, Uncle 10. It was a gift to the Nana Prempeh II by a very fair Israel. Yeah. That is Asante textile, the Asante fabric. In Ghana, the one I'm wearing was made locally by Asante people. There is a village, a community in our kingdom that produces kente. And in those times, kente was specifically made for the royals. It is a royalty. And nobody was allowed to put on for Opoku the second, 1970 till 1999. It was during his time in the year 1995 that this old palace was turned into a palace museum when he was celebrating 25 years. Your Majesty, we also have the 13th Queen Mother of Asante, Nana Efia Kobise Wampem II. And One of the wars that Asante will never forget in their lives was fought in the year 1874. That was when the British brought their ammunition and destroyed the entire nation. It was after they had taken our gold, our treasures, that they set the entire city Kumasi ablaze. And there had been several calls to bring the items back, but to no avail. Last 2-3 years, our king was a special guest to King Charles during his coronation. So after the coronation, our king had a meeting with the British Museum, Victoria and Albert Museum, and they decided to bring some of the items back to us, but on loan. On loan. Your Majesty, these are some of the things that we have brought. These are the creativity, the ingenuity of our forebears. Even though no formal education, that was what they were able to create so many years ago. It is exactly 151 years since these items were looted by the British. So, and the age of these items are more than 150 years, but they were being used before they were taken away. They thought by taking this sword, this is the sword, Mpombozio sword. It's a special sword that every Asante chief uses to swear the oath of office before that person is accepted as a chief. So the reason they took this one away was that they wanted to deny us of our chieftaincy institution. But they didn't know that the creation of this sword is innate. So when they took this one away, we were able to create another one. That's why we have kept the institution thus far. So that is the Pombozo sword, very powerful sword that legitimizes somebody to be crowned. Downstairs, I told you, one of the Asante kings was arrested to Seychelles for 28 years. Your Majesty, that is him. Otumfo Ajimaprempre the first. He was 18 years in the year 1888 when he became a king, the king of Asante. But at age 26, in the year 1886, he was arrested by the British to one of our towns in the central region, Elida Castle. Your Majesty, imagine the entire UK fighting, and Asante wanted to fight to protect our king. But the king said, it's better for me to go alone, but to destroy the entire nation. So he voluntarily offered himself. So he sacrificed. Right. They brainwashed him and got him baptized as a Christian into Anglican faith. So you see the cross giving him and the Bible giving him, so that when he comes back, he will not involve himself in our chieftaincy issues. But when he came back, he didn't want to involve himself in the kingship again. But as some people said, no way. For 28 years you were away, we kept your stool. So you could continue to rule. So indeed, when he came from exile in 1924, Asante welcomed him back to Kumasi. Your Majesty, that is the cloth he was wearing. He wore on the day they formally welcomed him back to Kumasi. Your Majesty, that is the miniature ship that took him to Seychelles. Your Majesty, the history of Asante is incomplete without talking about this powerful lady. The lady that we are so proud of. She was the one who led the Asante to fight the last war against the British. When the king and the queen mother and the rest of the chiefs, the warriors, were taken to Seychelles, the British thought that that was the end of Asante kingdom. So they came back demanding for the gold stool of Asante. Your Majesty, Asante has a symbol that identifies who we are. It is the blood, the soul, the spirit of Asante. Whoever touches the stool has touched the heart of Asante. So that was what the British were determined to take away. But all the men, Your Majesty, were afraid to stand the might of the British. It took the bravery of this woman, Nana Yasantewa, who was 65 years in 1900, who said, no way. You've taken our king, we never fought. You've taken our warriors, we never fought. Now you have come back to take away our pride. To have you is going to boost the morale and the public perception about Nigerian policies. And since we have, in Your Majesty, we have small package. It's a book that we want the lady to present to you as to remind you. So.
More fearful. Now, for that I said, your course one, I don't know, a man, any a mamma, and the Trabusano, na said, Ghana Hanamo, the National House of Chiefs, a mine here, and what Ghana, the Parliament Chief, any dear, any bua, or Modishia, the king of Eswatini, ne Chese, and somewhere called so, and the National House of Chief President, na senior, or 2 Ghana for, I am for 5 years, now you are here. One man who find our politicians and to me and real to say the name no say na Dormaahene say our politicians say we are no ama sabre say politicians na we are no o san a reject no ayina mama say adane anisu any areho na ama no eno na ewie ye and the king of Eswatini and so de futusem ene emasem etu omo no gina Ghana yen kasa ye constitution no ye chieftaincy constitution no gina so ene oponi bi odutu amahene ewo Ghana efo we ye no ka kire omo se monhwe na Ghana Nyankopon achamade eye otumfuo we se tutu bibi na mekasi Asante kingdom Nyankopon na de na cham isan se na hinye no so emudu ewiase na ma bi ebekobia no ye boni din otini din omusua ho ade enunti yanhwe ne ye yemfu obuo ene ani die sefata ema Asante hene eno na ewie ye no sesensem ni na akɔwie no okopie mu ewo ye wuranim otumfuo se tutu kwachia no na wasa ko museum ye wa eye manhia ekɔtɔ wo museum ho nyina no kɔtɔ wa Asante Palace wo nyina manhia Palace wura ba bibia mamparefo di nanim kyerɛkyerɛ no amane ne amamre nananemu awukɔ omahofama omontoma no mufula omapakan na omudam omunkunua na omutram omoho okora nkunua na omutram nyina wo eye manhia museum na tese enika Asante wo bika Asante wo biche Asante kingdom no se emu yedu entinan ene ne Ghana fo maburu no nkoda nyina beti ase se Ghana ha ye kingdom no den eso na we no de wo nyina se Dormaahene antimi amepie mu na ye butimi boprim empadefo kakra bi sa wo no se na monim se da na Dormaahene court ensensem a yekoso ye court Kumasi High Court contempt akire no eno enna dodo na susu se Dormaahene suro se wodi ne nan ebesie Kumasi force ase so na waba National House of Chief meeting na hwe yi a na Kumasi High Court the police for aba aba beche no because of say court contempt achina o dwane court hwehwe na wo hunu ya na anu ada eye court stance ya wantimi ama o sawo ma ne lawyers ni na hemfo se omomra ya sira na court so omhia wono kwa ngazangasa ni padua eye the 3rd July no eno na dodo na asusu se enu nti na Dormaahene esuo se wobeba National House of Chief eye Kumasi because National House of Chiefs wa wunim bia no wo Kumasi manhia wo Kumasi manhia na National House of Chiefs den ewo edana eye National House of Chiefs na nkompanefo no nyina no na ayefo nyina no mutima me yikyire wi nyina no eye otumfo Asante kingdom fo edan ena omode ama aban se omontram na National House of Chiefs no me den omoye meeting enti se Dormaahene to ayampia wo oto ayampia wo Bunu House of Chiefs ya owie ni na ba bi obesa ko meeting no eye manhia eti onuarofo sene obi castro say zikwatukwa so bi from toma na wa yeden na watie ne din te Dormaahene na kaka binsem nsem okeka nsem obekeka eni tese obuo ne ani dia wonfama Asantema ne Asante hene no ne Bunu House of Chief President say odini na no so no owi Kumasi na obetra National House of Chief meeting enu tiabusua we nyina ma yedi adanse amohu say na Dormaahene elutumi na Dormaahene enya bema na Dormaahene kaka binsem nyina no eye Dormaahene pe enutim de no entrap blekum na tresu na bedu Kumasi na se na enwa no na se na Dormaahene agine hudi se oye Bunu House of Chief President ya wodi tumi se wodi ne hudi ya na wosenka wotimi ba na wobabehia eye the king of Eswatini no wobabehia ne bi na mperefo tre o madwen no na kɔ so se de ekyere na adwen na wakatre king of Eswatini se Ghana ye mra na ye wono se constitution no ye sisem na wɔsɛ nkɔba na wɔbɛtena n'adwen nanso wɔntumi ama nti ana Dormaahene sɛsɛ me no mu kasa die sɛsɛ no ɔno anim baabi a wɔaduane a wɔayɛ wakɔ akɔhyɛ na ewiase yɛsɛ wɔn ne akokɔ te a yɛmpene dabrɛ woduane koraa no a 3 July ɛgye ebo ɛnɛ yɛ 26 3 July ɛnɛ yɛ 26 o fan sɛ aka bɛyɛ 10 days aka bɛyɛ 10 I think say 10 days kurenu bɛyɛ 7 days 7 days na 3 July no na yɛ na du ɛno nti otwe mu time ɛne bɛtene bɛyɛ pa ɛyɛ Kumasi High Court wobɛba na de ebesie no na esi ɛno nti no sɛdeɛ no abakɔsɛm ɛkɔɔ so na the king of Eswatini the year 2025 obipiem wɔ Ghana na obɛhyia Ghana mahene nyinaa ɔmo wieye no ɔmo twa mfoni ɛma picture no ɛbɛda hɔ afebɔɔ na sɛdeɛ National House of Chiefs so ɛkyɛ the king of Eswatini adeɛ na yɛ nuanom so a ɔmo ɛnso so free not dance so ɛbɛgye kyɛ no batakali akɛseɛ na ɔkɔpie mu ɔmanhyia fikɛseɛ no yɛhu sampa mahene na ɛnura no sampa mahene deɛ wagye ne din na ɛnura no yɛka bron region ne deɛ a na kyerɛ sɛ bron region no wɔhene a wɔtumi gye ne din ɛwɔ National House of Chiefs ɛwɔ ɛyɛ Asante kingdom ne deɛ king of Eswatini ne nyinaa deɛ na yɛ nkransa ɛmanhene na wofuro no mu a ansana waba ɛyɛ sampa mahene enti sampa mahene no otufo ne the king of Eswatini ɛne nkransa hene ɛne ahafo the regional House of Chiefs ɛyɛ nana ntɔtɔ so mahene picture ɛnso so ɛna da hɔ no na kyerɛ sɛ ɛnura no deɛ na yɛ abakɔsɛm a mpanifo so ne saa picture yi ato hɔ a daakye no ɛbɛka ɔmo abakɔsɛm sɛ mmerɛ bi a ɛyɛ the king of Eswatini ɛbɛpie mu wɔ Ghana no ɔmo so ka ho bi ɛna ɛyɛ dɛn na sɛ wɔyɛ regional president of the house a na wantimi ama bɛnya saa picture wei ankɔbɔ ɛyɛ the regional House of Chiefs ɛwɔ hɔ ama daakye anka sɛ mmerɛ bi na Nana Adwumabadu ɛna ɛyɛ president wɔ ha na the king of Eswatini baayɛ no ɔne ne twa picture mpo enie na kyerɛ sɛ ɛnura no regional House of Chiefs nyinaa present yɛ but yɛhu bron region deɛ ɛne nti no abusua onuadɔfoɔ deɛ wɔ mu nyinaa no ɛne yɛtwa ho mfoni aba bɛkyerɛ no ɛsɛ Dormaahene atimi adwane ya ayɛn timi ɛhu no ɛnura ne susue nyinaa ne sɛ obepie mu wɔ manhyia anaasɛ Kumasi abɔnten so a National House of Chiefs meeting na ɛyɛ contempt a ɛyɛ court ɛhwɛ no policefoɔ ɛbɛtimi ayɛ dɛn akyɛ no ɛna da hwɛ ha na wɔ subscribe channel no share video no mfama dofoɔ nyinaa wɔhwɛ na wɔhyɛ na wiwi abɔmɔden sɛ ɔbɛkyerɛ waden comment section bɛda sɛ wagye mmerɛ ɛne adagye ɛde ama me yɛbɛsɛ ahyia biom ɛwɔ Ghana King TV